everyone, welcome to a brand new edition of Hugh Spotlight. And all the way from Atlanta, Canada, I have the Queen of Music in Atlanta, Canada, Jenn Grant. Jenn, welcome to Hugh Spotlight.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yes, and excitement now for the new year in 2026, a brand new album, correct?
That's right.
And let's talk about this one. I mean, you're a well-seasoned singer-songwriter. You've been doing it for years. You've won awards. You've won all the allocates. How is this album, Queen of the Strait, different for you?
This is very different for me because it is autobiographical. Um, I grew up in Prince Edward Island until I was 10, and I moved to Nova Scotia with my brother and my mom. And that was after our parents' separation. And so I guess I begin telling stories about my childhood and then into adolescence and into adulthood and touch on all of the themes that have made me the person that I am now. Um, and so I guess it's the most revealing and most personal and direct, like a direct storyteller type of record. And also it's got this beautiful show that accompanies it, that we're creating, that is touring some of Canada. Um, yeah, so it's very unique for me. And also we made it in 4 days live off the floor. We recorded it without headphones on, and that was yeah. And then we sort of sat with it for quite a while, and I kind of actually had to kind of get used to the idea that I wasn't going to be re-recording my vocals. But we decided to go against the grain of AI and capture, release something that was truly captured in the moment with Joshua Van Tassel and Daniel Ledwell as my co-producers.
Well, it has this sound that's so hard to describe. When I listen to the songs, there's a crispness, or it, again, and that's probably because of the way it's recorded. It is so beautiful, and I think it just lends so well to the story structure that you've created throughout this album. Why do this now, Jenn?
I'm a woman in midlife, mid-career. I have two children. I am the age that my mother was, or my children are the age that my brother and I were when these formative events started happening in our lives. And my mother died 13 years ago, but I can see, like, it's like I know her better now, with all this time that's passed as I've grown up and as a mother, as an artist, as an activist. I just really wanted to do something that felt incredibly genuine for me.
And it does come through. Now I want to go back to talking about family. You have two wonderful kids, and you mentioned around the same age as when you and your brother went through that tumultuous time with your two parents. What have you learned through that experience, and what are you instilling in your children today?
You know, sorry, my dog is crying for some reason. Um, I mean, I learned a lot. I don't have any, I don't, yeah, when you think about like regrets or experiences, I mean, as a songwriter, I've always done a version of this thing, which is to come at songwriting, at the themes of it, whether it's about heartbreak or loss, from a standpoint of being strong, and with a new sense of clarity and healing. And I suppose because I can see how I became the woman that I am because of this history that I have. I had, I think, a unique history in my family, and I've never really super talked about it, but it did create who I am, and I had to learn a lot of lessons as well along the way. I think in some ways, I think it made me very empathetic, and I also think it probably made me make some very wrong decisions in my life as well that I can look back on now. I feel like I've come to a place where I know myself, and I know my mother, at least. I'm not sure about my father, but I got to find my Labradoodle just a second. Where she? We're gonna take you on a ride. Here's my house. It's a good thing I cleaned it. Come on, Birdie. What are you doing? She's stuck on the stairs.
Well, this is all about multitasking, right? And that's
Yeah.
what we do.
Right. Okay. I got the dog.
Okay.
Oh, help her. She was stuck.
Let's talk about your mom.
Sure.
Well, what was your relationship like with her?
I think I was telling someone the other day that I think in the last 3 years of her life, we were actually friends. Like, I think she was maybe my best friend. We talked a lot, and then she was amazing. She was a great supporter of music of all of my friends. She was beautiful and well loved and bubbly and kind, and she's very much a part of my life still. I really take lessons from her every day, and I use them in the teaching with my children. So I feel very lucky to have had the relationship that we had. And I think also I was a bit of a challenging kid. Like I was like, I always got along with my teachers, and I always had lots of friends, but I was always getting in trouble. And she had a lot to deal with. So, well done.
And then your brother, too.
Yes.
He has a special spot in your heart.
Yeah, my brother is a cinematographer in Guelph, Ontario, and he has 2 little boys with his partner as well that are the same age as our kids. And I, yeah, he was always quieter than me and taller than me and very smart and very thoughtful. And we, experienced the tumultuous breakup of our parents and a lot of stuff going on around it together, and then went on these kind of adventures with our mother for until adulthood, which I think could have, in another situation, another person, maybe that those would have been hard and difficult, sad times, but for the majority of it, we were really kind of led by this sense of adventure and joy and fun. And I think it really shaped who we both are as people, and very, very pushed to be creatives. And she was always very proud of that. So I think she'd be delighted. My brother is also helping me a bit with this multimedia project that we're doing around the record. And I dedicated the album to him as well.
Oh, again, and yes, this tour, you're not just coming out on stage and singing the songs. It's a multimedia presentation, which is so cool, and I think would help us as audience become more immersed in the stories that you're telling, because they are so personal.
Thank you. They're my personal stories, but they're really meant to be a jumping off point for the audience. It's an immersive experience for the audience. There's theater and film and dance and movement and art, and I've always been pretty multifaceted as an artist. I'm a painter as well. I like to create things that are theater-esque, and so this is like such a great opportunity for me to kind of create something bigger than I've ever had the chance to do before.
Wow. Well, we can hardly wait to see it. I know that you're going on tour come springtime. The album needs to come out, but before we wrap things up, there's a beautiful video, and again, a story about your mom and the quintessential Canadian superstar, Jim Cuddy. So I'm going to let you tell the story.
For sure. In 2012, I was at the Junos in Ottawa with my mom, and she had metastatic breast cancer. And she'd only been sick for a few months, but it was the 3rd time that she had gotten diagnosed with breast cancer. And I took her to the Junos, and she was so proud, and we picked out a special dress that would kind of cover her in the right ways, because she was having swelling in her like fluid building up in her liver, and we had to kind of be creative with the outfits. And so I didn't know Jim at the time. He has become a very, very dear friend. But I was coming down the escalators with my mom, and Jim was standing in the lobby by himself. And which there was no one else around. And actually knowing him now, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. He's always meeting people for dinner in the lobbies. That was probably what he was doing. But we came down and I thought, I am going to take this opportunity and just get Mom to meet Jim Cuddy because she loves him. And I took their photo, and I remember her eyes very clearly, very sparkly blue, full of love and light. And that was the last time that I saw her eyes like that. She kind of perked up for that moment because she must have known it was going to be important, because she was, you know, when you have late stage cancer like that, your eye, there's something, you know, that's different in your eyes. But she really perked up for that minute. And we said, thank you very much. And we left. And she went to the hospital right away when we got back home. She died 3 weeks later. But in the hospital room, she had that picture, and she said she wanted to be laid to rest in the Jim Cuddy dress. And so we did. And we had this make-believe funeral, I call it, because we did have a beautiful send-off for her in the park that we planned together. But we had this little thing in this tiny funeral home in Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia, that was me and my brother and my husband and our dog, Charlie. And Danny was playing the Beach Boys, and I was dancing with the dog, and Mom was there in the Jim Cuddy dress. And it's an honor to pay tribute to such a beautiful, beautiful queen.
Well, the video is spectacular, and you know, we really enjoy having to spend some time with you, to get to know you. The album is so, so beautiful, and I hope that everyone embraces it, and thank you. It's a gift.
Thank you so much.
It really is. Yes. So here she is, Jenn Grant, with the Jim Cuddy dress video.
Moved it to a tent in Marco Polo land. Called it a summer vacation. The house blew away into the field that day. Good thing my brother was paying attention. Last time I saw you, trying to look your best, it was a make-believe funeral. You were in your Jim Cuddy dress. It was the Gold Cup and saucer parade. All of the plans that we made for the Gold Cup and saucer parade. Nothing that's sweet ever fades. Nothing that's sweet. You can see the lights over the harbor at night from my room at the Stardust Motel. Pulled the kitchen down from the wall to the ground. It wasn't heavy, but it wasn't hell. Picked out the cheapest box, 'cause you did